Welcome to this explainer. Okay, today we are going to completely transform how you approach research. And look, we're not just talking about finding slightly better search terms. No, we're going to dive right into visualizing the actual literal architecture of knowledge itself. Seriously, I want you to imagine something for a second. What if, instead of endlessly sifting through thousands of isolated PDFs, like digging through some dusty old filing cabinet, you could actually map out how every single idea, theory, and breakthrough connects to one another? Well, the good news is you can, and honestly, it changes absolutely everything. So here's our game plan for today. We're going to quickly cover the keyword search problem, then get into mapping knowledge with networks, look at the AI tools for network discovery, finding gaps and frontiers, lay out a practical AI workflow, and finally, go over common network traps. All right, let's jump right in. All right, section 1, the keyword search problem, linear and overwhelming. Think about it. A traditional literature search is basically just filing paperwork, right? You type in a query, and the database spits out hundreds of papers in this linear, completely overwhelming list that just happens to match your keywords. It totally misses the context. AI citation networks, on the other hand, give you these beautiful spatial maps. They actually show you the entire ecosystem. So you stop staring at a flat list and you start looking at a living, breathing network of ideas. Moving on to section 2, mapping knowledge with networks. Let's look at how we actually build this structure. Okay, so in this ecosystem, every great map needs a starting point, right? We call this coordinate your seed paper. This is just a paper you already know is highly relevant to whatever you're researching. And from this single point of origin, AI tools can basically time travel. They explore backward to see the intellectual foundations that your seed paper cited, and then they explore forward to see all the subsequent work that it went on to influence. It's kind of like a social network, but for ideas. In these networks, individual papers are called nodes, and the citations connecting them are the edges. Now, papers that are cited by dozens of others, they get pulled right to the center. They're basically the popular influencers holding the whole field together. That high centrality instantly tells you, boom, this is foundational, influential work. Meanwhile, way out on the periphery, that's where you'll find your niche pioneers exploring brand new frontiers. Our source material really hits the nail on the head here. It points out that a researcher doing standard PubMed searches might easily find, say, 500 relevant papers, but they have absolutely zero systematic way to understand which of those are actually seminal. Without these network maps, you could literally spend weeks reading peripheral studies and completely miss the core, foundational work that shifted the entire direction of your field. That is a huge risk. That brings us to Section 3, AI Tools for Network Discovery. Let's open up the Explorer's Toolkit. What's really fascinating here is how these 3 distinct AI tools actually complement each other. They work together to triangulate the truth. You really shouldn't just use one. You want to use them as a cohesive suite. First up, connected papers. It is absolutely phenomenal for visual hierarchy. You drop in a seed paper and it builds this beautiful map, highlighting those foundational nodes we talked about. Next, you've got Research Rabbit, which is your discovery engine. It lets you intuitively just wander through the literature by topic or author. And finally, Litmaps. This one gives you the superpower of time. It maps research temporally, so you can literally watch waves of research activity rise and fall over the decades. Let's ground this in a real-world scenario. Imagine a researcher entering the massive, super fast-paced microbiome field. They needed to get a grip on the gut-brain axis. You know, how your stomach literally communicates with your mind. Now, instead of manually reading hundreds of abstracts, which would take weeks, they just used a recent methods paper as their seed. And wow, within 30 minutes, the visual map handed them the exact 10 to 15 foundational papers they absolutely had to read first. 30 minutes instead of weeks. It's just an incredible efficiency multiplier. All right, Section 4, Finding Gaps and Frontiers. Let's see how to spot those hidden opportunities. So by using temporal tools like Litmaps, you can actually track these massive frontier waves. Say you're looking into machine learning in healthcare. You obviously want to establish yourself in a growing area, right? Not one that's totally saturated. Well, the AI maps might show you that, okay, 10 years ago, the foundational methods were laid out. 5 years ago, the first healthcare applications popped up. But right now, the map reveals this massive, exploding cluster of citations all around wearable device integration. But interestingly, very little foundational methodology has been published yet. That visual cluster right there, it tells you exactly where the frontier is. That is the wave you want to ride. But sometimes the biggest opportunity isn't even a new frontier. it's a missing bridge. Take this example. AI tools mapped out medical education literature and revealed that it was completely visually isolated from behavioral economics and cognitive psychology. The notes literally weren't connecting. Finding and bridging two uncommunicating territories like that is probably one of the most powerful discoveries any professional can make. You can literally take established expertise from one domain, translate it, and apply it to another where it's completely unheard of. Talk about a game changer. Section 5. The practical AI workflow. Let's break down a clear methodology. Now, I want you to think of me as a senior consultant coaching your team right now. If you want a truly bulletproof process, you need to follow these 6 steps. Number 1, select your seed papers very carefully. 2, map that initial landscape in connected papers to locate your core nodes. 3, take the time to manually explore who cited your seed and who your seed cited. Step 4, jump over to Research Rabbit to intuitively wander through those subtopics. 5, plug your findings into Litmaps to see if the field is actively growing or dying out. And finally, step 6, synthesize. This is where you look for those sparse areas, the missing bridges, and the true gaps. Now, going back to step 1 for a second, selecting your seed papers. There is a magic number here, and it's absolutely critical. 3. You should always select exactly 3 diverse seed papers. You want one seminal, older paper, the one that established the field. Then you want one recent methodological paper that breaks down how the research is actually done today. And finally, one frontier paper from, say, just the last 2 years. Mapping from these 3 distinct coordinates is absolutely crucial because it prevents you from getting trapped in a narrow echo chamber, and it ensures you don't miss any of those vital foundational connections. And finally, Section 6, avoiding common network traps. It's time to calibrate our AI judgment. Okay, keeping that senior consultant hat squarely on my head, we really need to calibrate your AI judgment skills here because you cannot blindly trust the AI. So here is a quick risk checklist for you. First, always evaluate the task risk versus the AI's capability. For instance, mapping visual connections, fantastic use of AI, but relying on it for absolute factual accuracy without double-checking, extremely high risk. Second, beware of AI hallucinations. We've all seen it. Large language models absolutely can and will invent totally fake citations or completely fabricated statistics just to give you an answer. So please always verify that the source paper actually exists. Third thing, citation frequency does not equal absolute truth. Sometimes a paper is highly cited just because everyone in the field is criticizing it. And lastly, remember that these tools mainly index academic databases. That means they're going to completely miss corporate reports, government data, and gray literature. And listen, there is one specific trap that catches almost everyone. You might generate this beautiful map, see a massive blank space in the middle, and think, aha, I found a brilliant research gap. Literally nobody has studied this. Well, be careful, because the map is only as good as the search terms and the seed papers you feed into it. Very often, a sparse region just means the topic is hiding under completely different terminology over in another discipline. Always, always verify an apparent gap by running a new map with different keywords before you declare you discovered untouched territory. Well, we've definitely covered a lot of ground today, moving all the way from those overwhelming linear lists to these incredible dynamic AI-generated maps of human knowledge. So I want to leave you with this thought. What would your specific field's citation network look like if you mapped it out right now? What foundational nodes have you been missing? And maybe more importantly, what hidden connections and bridges are just sitting there waiting for you to discover them? Go grab 3 seed papers, fire up these tools, and find out. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer.